welcome to Musher's Tales. So setting a few fox snares today, just enough to see, try to catch a couple and see what the furs looks like. So my fox snaring is, I make blind sets. Basically, I predict where the animal's going to walk and put a piece of cable to catch it around the neck. So it's something I enjoy doing. No bait, no nothing. It's basically a skill. You know, you have to figure out where they're going to go. And they can go anywhere they want in the woods, so you got to kind of predict it. So what do we bring? Got a couple of buckets of cable, different kinds. Have a bit of extra wire, a pair of pliers, a pair of gloves, a pair of cutters. It's pretty simple stuff in terms of gear. Excuse me. Here's going to be my first set. So somebody asked me, Bon Pêcheur, said he wants to know why I put a set. And this is, you're going to get it, you're not going to get it. Excuse me. But you just have to, you have to figure out where the animal's going to walk. And animals always walk where it's easiest to walk, just like us. I mean, you'll notice when there's a track across the grass where people are cutting across a corner or something, everybody does the same thing. But animals are the same. Like right now I can tell, by looking at this spot here, that the animal's going to walk on the left. Why? It's a little bit lower. You can see it's a little bit less worn, more worn, and there's none of these little twigs sticking up like you do on the right-hand side. So it's basically a little four-wheeler track where people took a shortcut to get from a gas line to a road because they wanted the shortest way, just like an animal. And this is where it's going to happen. So I'm going to put my snare right here. It's going to go right here. And I'll just take away that branch there. See how that side's dirty, it's a little bit higher, this is lower. I have a tree right here to tie, so that's what's going to happen. And if you look on the other side, I could put it 5 feet further or not, but I mean, that's a nice spot, nice and hidden. The animal is going to get caught in a snare, he's going to wrap around those trees, choke out rather quickly, and he'll be hidden from somebody just casually walking by as if he was out in the open. So let's do it. Make all my own snares, just because I have it what I want. Nothing fancy. Piece of cable, snare lock. Something I do is I don't always use the right size snare lock. I like things to move quickly, even if it's freezing rain or anything. So my locks aren't always necessarily perfect. Wrap around the tree twice. Wrap the cable. In this case, it's not cable, it's wire. You got to make sure your wire is good, because if the most vulnerable spot of this whole installation is wire. Wire could break, but this wire looks good. My snares are always the size of my hand. I put them about 5 fingers high, depending on the snow, depending on what's going on. Boom. There we go. If I look through this, the camera goes down a bit and looks right through it. Okay, see, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's it. Next spot. Away we go. That's set. All I need is a fox railings to go by. So here's another example of a set. I'll probably put 2 snares here. Old logging road. See how this side's all closed up? Nothing's going by here. This side here, we got a nice little spot right there. Got a nice spot, a very nice spot right here. This spot here is like just begging for one. And a little bit up ahead, there's another nice spot. So probably put 2 snares here. So when there's not anything nice to tie to, I use a pole, a drag pole. Silky saw in the side pocket here. So I just whip down the pole and tie a couple of snares and it'll be done. Silky 180, I think it's F180. Handy little pocket saw. If you have fall ravens, fits perfectly in that pocket, you don't even know you have it. And yeah, a little bit of a birch tree here. That'll do a drag pole. So he's not gonna, especially in this brush, nothing's gonna bring this very far. He gets caught, he'll be right here, because the tree's so long to carry. The trick is to put the tree in such a way that it doesn't block the trail though. Which isn't too much of a problem. There we go. Here we go, set. Oop. Here you go, we're set. Size of my hand. It's a little bit low, I'll raise it just a bit. There we go. And this one here, I'm gonna put a bit of a piece of flagging. A little tiny piece of flagging, so just to help me spot it quickly. Second set, maybe 20 feet away. That's maybe a little bit high. Animals usually go with their nose to the ground unless they're traveling. There we go. So there you go, second set. Tied solid to a little jack pine, I guess. Yeah, a little jack pine. And yeah, two sets. You say, why two snares? Well, because it's a game of millimeters, a game of inches. Miss them on the first, get them in a second. It happens sometimes. You double up. I mean, I've had a fox in one, a lynx in another. I've had two fox, I've had two lynx. Or you could have, you know, maybe a rabbit gets caught in the first one. Then, you know, at least you have another snare still working. So generally speaking, if a place is good enough for one snare, it's good enough for two or three. It's always better to put more than less, especially it's blind sets. You might say, hey, you got no gloves on and all this descenting and there's some rust on the wire and, you know, you got to be careful of the hocus pocus stuff. I mean, yeah, you have to be clean. You know, you don't want bait or lure on your wire. He stops and sniffs. But what I do is I'm looking for traveling animals. He's going from point A to point B. I mean, where I live, if they freaked out every time they smelt a person or every time they smelt a piece of metal there, they just die of a nervous breakdown. And this is logging country. There's bits of metal everywhere. Okay, there's bits of wire everywhere, and there's old car parts and who knows whatever. Okay, you're in the bush, and we're along old roads, so not a problem. If I had bait nearby though, and they're approaching bait and they're saying, this is weird, what's this food doing here, and they're going high alert, yes, it would be a different story. But that's not what I'm doing. I'm doing blind sets. I'm hitting traveling animals, hunting animals, and I'm not giving them any reason to be on alert. They're just going down their path, and all of a sudden, whoop, they're caught. Small piece of flagging. And again, you know, flagging's everywhere around here. I mean, where I am now, it's a plantation. It's actually some kind of a pine cone orchard, and there's flagging everywhere. People don't really pay attention to flagging, so it's confusing enough. I switch up colors and everything, so I know what's mine or what's somebody else's, a logger or something. So flagging isn't a problem either. And generally speaking, if I am flagging an obvious spot, you put your flagging high. Okay, I didn't now, but if you put your flagging high, most people go right by. So the trick is not to get caught in your own snare walking along, because then you got to reset it because you knocked it over. So off we go. So just saw a grouse, which my wife's trying to get to your left a bit, maybe just a bit, not much. You're standing where he was standing. I'd be going left a bit, hon. Just took off.
Did you see?
I know I heard him though.
Where?
I heard him fly to our left. Maybe those tall trees. I don't know if he flew far or anything. I heard him fly right now. Talking about flagging. Like flagging means like, unless you know what it is, flagging doesn't mean much around here. So you can use your flagging. I mean, look, this place is flagged like none of it's mine. You know, and there's 3 different colors. There's 4 different colors I see right now. Actually, none of it's mine. I see one of mine. I see one of mine. But yeah, a lot of flag. So rabbit trail. Is that another one? I always bring a few snares because you don't know which one's going to fit. Notice these trees aren't very big, but if I wrap around twice, and he's going to tangle because I have enough wire. It's not one tree holding him, it's several trees. Uproot or break the tree, he'll chew the tree, but he won't chew the tree right at the, he'll chew high, he won't chew low. It's nice when they set themselves. And if you want to make it a little bit narrower, you want to do a bit of guiding, see this size of a diameter of a matchstick? That's all kinds. That's all kinds. You don't want to have that poke in your face. So look, boom, right in the corner there, just in case his head's up. Some people talk about putting a little stick underneath, a little chin stick and everything. I don't do that. Do in the snow sometimes, because in the snow it's hard to judge because how deep they're sinking. But on the ground like that, their heads fairly low. They're sniffing, they're hunting around. And that's it. The snare's got 2 trails. The trail's got 2 snares. We move on. Next spot. I've got a different trapping partner today. The beaver guy, he's skinning. So I'm setting. I find this trapping partner is better looking. So I'm setting and my wife's walking around the 410. Looks like she has supper. Is that our supper?
It's a house, I think.
Oh yeah? A spruce grouse, yeah, it's a spruce grouse. Yeah. Yeah. Don't see.
Got it a little too good with second shot.
Oh, you took 2 shots at it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
First shot, it was hopping around.
Okay, so you shot a little low.
Well, no, I got him.
Yeah.
First shot. And a second shot.
You couldn't catch him with your hands?
No.
No.
No, it was dirty brush there.
Yeah, it's thick. Oh, that's fine. So I'm setting places I've set for years. When I say years, like, you know, decades. So just how do you pick the spots? Okay. So right now we're on a gas line. We're on a gas line, and the gas line parallels the pavement. And there's a little trail here that cuts out to the pavement. So I'm going to set a couple of snares between the pavement and the gas line, and then I'm going to set a couple of snares on the ATV trail going up the gas line, because it's a good spot. And this is good for 1 or 2 fox a year, sometimes a wolf. It's a great spot. Why? See that mountain up there? So that's a natural corridor. The highway is a natural corridor. They follow along the edges. This is a way to cut up from the edge into this gas line where there's going to be mice and there's going to be grouse and there's food around if they didn't spray. If they spray to kill vegetation, which they do every couple of years, then it's not nearly as good, because the lack of vegetation, lack of raspberries, lack of blueberries means lack of mice and food, and then it's usually not so good. So anyways, that's what we're going to do. So we're hitting travel ways. This is a major travel way. So that's why we're sitting here, because this is where they travel. You know, it's the easiest spot. And yes, if a 4-wheeler goes by, he's going to knock down my snares. I got to reset them. That's going to happen. It's guaranteed it's going to happen. But you reset them, and you connect eventually. Once I get 2 fox out here, I pick up, because that's what it's good for. You know, I can leave them here for a month, and I might get another wandering fox, but then I'm setting it and I'm burning gas. And the wandering fox, if he comes by, he might stick around. So you don't want to kill everything. Just want to take the cream. What we try to do every year is just take the cream. Take the cream, leave the rest, and you have a good harvest every year. It's like raising free-range chickens, but we raise free-range fur bearers. This trail is good for something every year. Something or other. Really nice spots are that. I mean, these are spots that set themselves. Really great spots. I've caught wolf here, I've caught lynx here, catch fox here, caught fisher here. It's a good little travel way. So, and if you look, like right there, it's the right hand side of the trail that works. Then he crosses over the left hand side, because this is blocked here. So it's always reading the trail, and it's not rocket science. So let's get to work. It's always using what you have around. The snare's a little high right now. I wanted to tie up there, which is all kinds big for a fox if you tie low. This is too high. It'd be perfect for a lynx though, but I'm not having, lynx are very rare right now, so they're not selling for much. I don't think there's any around and I don't want one. So wrapped it around there. This tree's all bent because I had a cat chair last year. If this trail could talk, a few good stories about this trail. One time I had a wolf caught by the foot in a fox snare. As you can see, it's pretty thick, so he was into this stuff here on the side. So I had to get pretty close to dispatch him. Of course, he didn't have much room to struggle, but boy, he was going crazy. That was a little exciting. And then another time, I had a lynx in a trap, and walk back and walk. You know, I walked up and down the trail a few times, going back with the lynx and resetting the snare and so on and so forth. And all of a sudden, several lynx were up in the trees and they came down. I say several, I mean, it must have been 3 or 4 of them. And all of a sudden there was lynx coming down the trees. And I'd walked underneath them, I don't know how many times, at least 3 or 4 times, you know, going up and then coming back and going up and coming back. So yeah, that got the old heart going. You know, when they start coming down, making a whole bunch of noise. And if I would have looked up, I would have seen lynx up in the trees. So it was, yeah, it was females and kittens, and there was a male there. So it was exciting. Good times. So this one here is set. And notice that little piece of wood there? That's what's going to guide him. Here, nothing's going to guide him at all. He's aiming there, and you're saying the wire itself is what's going to guide him. He's going to avoid the wire by putting his head right in the center. So that's it for this episode of Musher's Tales. All we have to do now is wait for when we catch something. Could be tonight, could be tomorrow, could be in a week or 2 weeks. The animals have to go by. No control over that. It's up to them, and the weather encourages them to do this or do that. So we'll see what happens. Gives you an idea of how I do things. There's lots of other ways to do it. It's just what works for me. So thanks for watching. Till the next time.